terribly.
If you've got something good, save it for the pod. Don't
save it for the pod. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Say because we'll start actually recording as soon as Pete shows up, which he is.
Okay.
He's showing up. Yeah.
He better.
I mean, he usually does. He's usually like very consistent.
Yeah.
If you guys need to shut me up at any point, feel free.
No,
Because like I'll occasionally ramble too much.
No, it's okay.
You'd be the only one. None of us ever rambles here.
No, I never just go off on like a crazy rant about.
Like I started listening. It took me a while too. I didn't realize. I'm like SlashMLS. Why is it called SlashMLS? And I realized, oh, because the slash, the subreddit. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
We thought we were so clever when we were putting that together. We're like, everybody will get it right away, and then, no, but yeah. Hey, you guys, favorite bit of transfer news from this weekend? What do you got?
Asking us? I don't care. I didn't care at all.
Don't care, dude. What about
No.
Zenit St. Petersburg signing Bart Simpson?
Okay, that's
Yeah. Come on.
Other than that, I don't give a fuck. I just can't. I told you this. I don't get into European football. I just.
It's weird. It's as if it's. It's funny because you're like, yeah, the world's game. I don't give a fuck about the world, but the world's game. Like I'm into all parts of the world, which are the U.S. and occasionally Canada.
It's gross to me, is what it is.
I've got interesting news for you. I mean, MLS is on its way to being as gross, and I think will continue to get grosser. And I don't think we'll be very far off from them in the grossness.
We're not about to be bankrupting people like the Spanish teams are.
Well, that's true. I mean, the Spanish teams are bankrupting themselves largely. And it's not all of, well, it's a lot of them. There's got to be a well-run team somewhere in Spain. Actually, Athletic Bilbao might be the well-run team. They're the one team that I think is not in just like catastrophic amounts of debt. All the rest of them are just
that's what I find. That's what I find
nightmares.
Is the amazing debt.
Yeah. Well.
Maybe that's capitalist American of me, but I like when teams are self-sustainable.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, how many MLS teams are running a profit now, though? It's still not even half. Most of them are still operating.
It might be half.
Might be half. I don't know. Last I heard, it wasn't half yet. It was getting closer to half, but.
I mean, Forbes says that it's more than half. MLS says that's. Yeah, MLS says that's ridiculous, but of course MLS is going to say that because they have a CBA negotiation coming up. So.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. I imagine Seattle and Portland and Kansas City and Dallas, New York and LA are all profitable.
Dallas?
Dallas has been profitable for a while.
With their amazing 13,000 average attendance?
Yeah, well, it's the whole thing about owning your stadium and getting all the money from it.
It's true. It's true. RSL's got to be in the red.
Yeah.
Or no, the black.
Yeah.
I can never remember. That never made any sense to me. Where does that come from? Black is negative or is positive numbers and red is negative numbers? Is this some? What is this?
I don't know. It's probably some race thing.
Yeah. Native Americans versus African Americans.
I do believe all three Canadian teams are profitable, even Montreal, despite the hilarity of it all.
Wow.
Well, speaking of all three Canadian teams, I know I said this to you, Josh, and the rest of the gang, but apparently I was thinking while walking home this weekend that 16 teams have hosted playoff games in MLS, and the 3 that haven't are all in Canada.
Wait, Toronto never hosted a playoff game? I thought
They've never been. They've never been.
Well, they hosted MLS Cup right back when they
I did make the point they haven't hosted their own playoff game. Own teams, yeah. But yeah, Toronto's hosted.
Wait, Vancouver haven't? They were in a play-in round, or was it the play-in wasn't?
They played in LA.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, hopefully it'll change this season.
Yeah, I agree. Toronto, deserves 6 playoff berths this year.
We're gonna back
Okay.
into the playoffs.
They've
but,
got some
you know,
allocation playoff berths. They've just been, they've been storing them up. They're like, oh, it's time to spend all these allocation berths and bump ourselves up to third place. Yeah.
Donde está Pete?
I don't know. I just texted him.
Oh yeah,
We'll see if he responds by text.
I have his
So who's
number.
this other TFC fan you guys have? One of you told me he was MIA for a while.
Yeah, he's been going for a while. His name is Dennis. He does a lot of photography for the team, which is kind of impressive. So he's always got, like, every once in a while you'll look at highlights from TFC games and I'll be like, there he is, and he's always hanging out by the little advertising hoardings, you know, with the camera really close up. Yeah. But yeah, he showed up at the beginning of the year and then he just kind of went away. So.
Yeah, which is disappointing because now we have a website and his photos would, you know, instead of.
Oh, Chris is coming! I didn't
Chris
even
is
know
here.
Chris was coming. Hey, well, hey, if we've got 4, we've got quorum. However that works. That's a
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
That's
fair. All right.
That means.
Where 4 or more of you are gathered in my name, let there be a pod.
Well, it's really once either Pete or Chris get here because I can't host because that was a disaster. And
I can host okay. It's just all of you guys have seemed to. I made jokes about how I couldn't host, and now all you guys are like, "Yeah, you can't do it." Like, nope.
yeah, you actually probably could. That's
Maybe, but I'm better off. Like, I need a straight man. That's why Chris and I work really well together. I say something kind of, I talk for a while and then end on a dumb note, and then Chris makes fun of me, and then we move on to the next topic.
I like that the straight man in this situation makes fun of you at the end of it.
Yeah, that's. Oh, Pete. Oh. Didn't see my email. Not going to make it. Had something come up. Well, I hope it was something good. Okay. Yeah, you know, just doing my part.
Oh, Seattle didn't do anything interesting this week anyway, so.
I can't believe they only beat Colorado 1-0. Colorado has not won a game in 8 games. That is a poor run they have been on. I thought they were going to go in and get slaughtered, and instead Seattle just eked out a win.
Yeah, Seattle's not slaughtering anybody.
Nope.
Except for Portland.
Yeah, they definitely cleaned up on Portland. But aside from that game, I don't feel like they've looked super impressive lately. Which makes me wonder about LA, because LA has been. Okay, but we should save that for topics. Topics and things. Chris.
Yo.
Fire us up.
I mean, if you want to host one, it's all you.
No, no.
Who's our guest today? Vince?
Yep.
Yeah, Vince from Toronto. Noted soccer morning guest.
Hey. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Hang on a second.
I gotta go inside. There are too many planes.
Vince, do you have a last name, or are you just Vince?
Vince is fine.
All right, cool.
It's funny on Reddit. People will like private message me like, "Are you Vince from Toronto?" That's what I've become basically.
Vince from Toronto.
Could be worse.
Do you like when you meet ladies? Do you introduce yourself as Vince from Toronto, even though you're in Toronto?
I do. I hit up the bar with the intention of dropping that line.
So this is what usually happens. We usually say, "Hey, we're going to start at 8:30," and then suddenly it's 9.
You have to wait for Josh to make like a mile-long journey to a different room.
Yeah, you know, as it goes.
It is actually like literally the farthest he could walk in his house.
Or are you walking in circles right now?
Well, a little bit, but I've
Just
stopped.
to make us think that your house is bigger.
Yeah, yeah. Look at how huge it is. No, Pete's on my house. Pete was here. All right. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, we can go. Ta-da.
You ready for this?
Yep.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SlashMLS Cast. It's September. coming down to the wire now. We got a lot of things going on, but first of all, we're going to introduce ourselves. My name's Chris. I'm ready. Username PatLinux11.
I'm Ian, username Armascarhu.
I am Josh, username 97227ist, and today with us we have Vince from Toronto, aka Barthez Battalion. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me. It's
Yeah.
pretty excited.
I was noting that you have what we like to refer to as a radio voice, which is to say you sound manly.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Radio. That's Josh's rules.
I can add some more bass if you'd like.
Yeah. Actually, can you do my voicemail? You know, like the message on my voicemail, just hello, you've reached Josh, and then people will be far more impressed with me.
Yeah, that's definitely. They will be super confused by the other voice.
Hi.
Oh, you know someone with a deeper voice. Okay. All right, let's get right down to it. We got Vince from Toronto here. We have some happenings in Toronto this week. What's your take on? So we've lost pretty much an entire coaching staff, but not one Jermaine Defoe. Where are Toronto fans landing on the whole thing right now?
It's a whole spectrum, really. When I look at it, from people I've talked to, and you know the media that you'll find there. I mean, some people are super happy about it. I'm probably on that. I'm ecstatic that Nelson's gone. And then you got others who are, you know, lamenting the fact that, you know, we were promised a new TFC, and this is the TFC we've seen since they came in 2007 with, you know, constant coaching changes and just backroom chaos.
It's just a more expensive version of the same old Toronto.
Yeah, that's definitely how it feels.
It's like the high octane version of it. It's like you haven't stopped crashing the car, but you are now crashing a Ferrari, which is a move up.
So I guess my question is, you said you came down on the kind of happy with the changes camp. Do you think there was enough time for a team to be put together?
Yeah, I do. I mean, when Bezbachenko came in, when Lewicki came in, you definitely felt like things were going in the right direction. And then, you know, Jermaine Defoe came in, Michael Bradley came in. You know, we signed Gilberto, who was doing pretty well for himself in the Brazilian league, making smart trades, bringing in Justin Morrow from San Jose, you know, Jackson from FC Dallas. It looked like TFC was finally doing things right, and it definitely felt that way. Now, my reservation was always with Ryan Nelson. Was he the right guy for the job? This is a guy who had no coaching experience, no coaching badges. I believe he played a game with QPR on one weekend and then retired and then flew over to Toronto and was already unveiled to the media. And so we had this team together, but the question was always, do we have the proper man to make all the pieces work? And it definitely felt that way at the beginning with the win over Seattle in Seattle, going on that unbeaten run, ending Columbus's. I believe they started off the season really strong, and we ended their win streak. And you definitely felt everything was great, and then, you know, the cracks started to show. I don't know, you guys probably saw it. Every game, Toronto FC would get on the board first within the first 15 minutes, and then they'd go 50 minutes of just, you know, really, really simple football, and then in the 80th minute they'd give up a goal, or they'd give up 2 goals, and then, you know, Ryan Nelson would be like, the referee wasn't on our side. Oh, you know, we just got to work on these problems at the end of games, and problems weren't really ever fixed. Things progressively got worse, not quickly, but they built up over time, and, you know, eventually it culminates with this 3-0 blowout to New England, who's on their own cold streak, and, you know, blaming the GM, which is never a good idea, and, you know, eventually this news that Nelson is no longer a part, and his whole coaching staff as well, gone from TFC.
Yeah, and not to brag, but I don't think you can look at what DC's done this year and give Toronto the excuse that they didn't have enough time to put that team together. What with our
Yeah,
entirety.
yeah. I mean, it's it was like the way I pointed out early on was we put a big band-aid over the situation, but it was a really expensive band-aid, and it worked with Bradley, with Jermaine Defoe. And then, you kind of expected maybe the players would pick up some of the slack for Ryan Nelson, as Nelson basically learned on the job. But we all saw what happened with Bradley at the World Cup, and perhaps that had an effect on him coming back to Toronto, because since then he's not played well. He's not been the general that we're so used to seeing. He had one good game against Montreal, so take that for what you want. And he's been inconsistent afterwards. I mean, looking at the highlights for the New England game, on 2 goals, he barely tries to track back. He kind of skips, and then you wonder, was he happy? Was he happy with Nelson? I mean, and all these stories are coming out now. Maybe we can get into them later about perhaps the players not necessarily agreeing with Nelson's vision.
Yeah, I mean, just tactical disagreements, or is it? I mean, was it? He's a recent player. Everybody always has this thought that like a recent player is going to somehow have this instant empathetic bond with current players and everything. But I mean, it didn't come off like a particularly happy squad in a lot of ways. And I don't know if that was just it being so many new players and the emphasis of the team being switched so quickly, or if it was maybe that Nelson's, maybe his style wasn't his coaching style or his man management style wasn't quite what the team needed.
So as someone who was following Toronto game in, game out, what was it you were seeing on the field that wasn't clicking? Was it that these high-profile players weren't pulling their weight? Was it they weren't meshing well with the rest of the team? Was it, what was falling apart there?
It definitely feels like TFC keeps going through a period of hot and cold where everything will be clicking one moment. You'll see Bradley, make a great run, give the ball to Gilberto, give it to Defoe, and get a goal. And we saw a couple of these 3 DP goals, and the commentators would rave about it. How this is all working out great. But other times you'd see them not work well together, get mad at each other, perhaps not use the other pieces around them. Sometimes maybe Bradley would be too selfish. Maybe Gilberto would try to do too much and put the team on his back when he could use the other pieces around him. And then you got perhaps the perceived disrespect to maybe a Dwayne De Rosario, who this was his homecoming, and Nelson decides to continuously bench him. Now, is that warranted? Maybe not. It's definitely the inconsistency. I mean, that's what you could see a great TFC, but it was almost like that's simply the surface. And if you were to just poke a little bit, perhaps get under the skin a bit, things would unravel quickly, which is what we would see. And then for a guy who was a defender in Ryan Nelson, it definitely felt like he did not know how to properly marshal the back line and make it consistent, because despite the attacking prowess that we have, and a lot of MLS teams are culpable of this, our defense was never stable. I mean, Daniil Henry, great place in my heart because he's Canadian, and I've seen him from when he first started. A friend of mine played with him in the academy and everything. So inconsistent, head-scratching options at the back, playing out-of-position fullbacks. It's just all these little things adding to this inconsistency. If it worked, that would be great, but it didn't, but it kept happening. So it was just a case of Nelson being inconsistent, but at the same time causing head-scratching decisions with the back line mainly.
Who would you want to see come in, or what kind of coach would you want to see come in to take over the team now? I mean, I know they've got Vanny, who was the...
We just lost Josh.
I was going to say.
And he's like... Am I back?
Yeah, now you're back.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, just edit that out. Yeah, so
about doing an online thing.
So I was going to ask, who would you want to come in as coach? I mean, I know that Greg Vanney is in there now, and he was the academy director, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, and that's an interim appointment, right? So he's, I mean, is he a regular appointment?
No, he's full in. He's full on. That's the first press conference. Bezbachenko made it clear he is the coach moving forward.
Okay, how do you feel about him then?
At first I was kind of iffy. I mean, you take one inexperienced guy in Nelson and replace him with another inexperienced guy in Vanney. But looking at Vanney's resume, he was an assistant coach. He knows MLS. I mean, that's the important thing, right? That a guy knows Major League Soccer, knows the ins and outs of this league. Especially in recent times. I mean, Nelson was an MLS guy, obviously, but that was a long time. That was a decade ago when I think about it, and a lot has changed, right? So, I would have preferred maybe someone like a Jesse Marsh, because I think Marsh did a great job with Montreal. Despite the fact Joey Saputo is Joey Saputo. But Bezbachenko, I trust Bezbachenko, especially because Nelson wasn't a Bezbachenko hire; it was a Kevin Payne hire, and so I do believe that he knows what he's doing. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt with Greg Vanney.
Is Jermaine Defoe a Toronto player next year?
Recently, actually, just a couple hours ago, Bezbachenko was on radio here in Toronto, and they asked him the question about, is Defoe going to stay? And it's looking most likely he's not.
Okay.
He's going to probably finish out this season. He's injured right now. Hopefully, he'll be back in time for the playoffs. But he's probably going to leave in January. Who knows? Maybe things improve and he decides to stay. But right now, Bezbachenko's being non-committal on whether or not he's going to stay in Toronto.
Do you think all of this transfer hubbub, I guess we didn't hear much from Jermaine Defoe, all the transfer day deadline and things were coming down. Has anybody heard, if he was ready to leave the team yet, or if it was something he was committed to sticking around on? Have we heard his point of view yet since all the rumors started flying?
No, we haven't at all, actually. It's pretty hilarious because all this stuff about him being unsettled just popped up when these transfer rumors came out. Beforehand, I hadn't really heard anything at all about him being unhappy because he's been injured for a while, really. So you're not necessarily hearing anything about his state of mind. Maybe just how he's recuperating from his injury. But all of a sudden, you're getting he's disillusioned with MLS. He's unhappy at Toronto. Now rumors are saying that he was unhappy with Nelson. So it's a difficult situation. I mean. And it's not just him too. There was rumors too that Michael Bradley's unsettled at Toronto, which then had people pulling their hair out just because it's a snowball basically. That's what it is.
Yeah, it was one of those things where his wife or something was pushing. I don't know. My only source for this was some random Reddit comment. So
That might have been mine, actually.
It might have been, yeah.
No, because we know what happened at Roma with his wife being unsettled in Italy and she wanted to come home, which is why he decided to come to MLS instead of maybe going to England. And that the rumor coming out that she's unhappy in Toronto and she wants to be in the United States. Now Bradley's talked to the media. He talked to the media today and he said he's happy, he's fine. So I'm not taking any stock in that, and I want to hear Jermaine Defoe's side of the story. He's still in England. He's still rehabbing his injury, but I want to hear from him and what he has to say because it's ridiculous. English tabloids are English tabloids, right? And we see it all with the Daily Mail and the Mirror and everything, and how they like to say this guy isn't happy. He's angling for a move, and that's exactly the case here. It's how it feels that maybe this is overblown. As the English like to do.
Yeah.
How much did you guys pay for Defoe?
I believe $10 million. $10 million, yeah.
Okay.
That's a chunk of change.
Yeah, it is.
I was curious when I saw that Toronto has received its largest transfer offer ever.
Yeah,
and I don't know whether that was in Toronto's history. Was that?
I believe.
Would that?
I don't know.
In MLS
Does he still hold the record?
I think I actually don't know off the top of my head how much he got.
Oh, hold on. I should know what the record is.
Is it Josie to Villarreal?
I'm Googling it.
Hey, somebody Google it. Hurry up.
Or was it Freddie Montero? I don't know.
No, because he went for like $5 million or $6 million. It wasn't that much. I mean, that's a lot. That's a crazy amount of money.
Yeah, but that's the same that Nahar went for. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
One segment. So Toronto is currently sitting squarely in the playoff picture. How do you see these moves shaking out throughout the rest of the year? Could you see things? I mean, you said the team seemed close to unraveling. Could you see that be the path that sends them down, or do you think they're going to kind of, gather around what they have and push through?
You would think that this new coaching change would galvanize the team and get them, into the playoffs. I mean, it's pretty precarious. I mean, New York is outside looking in, but they're only 2 points away from fourth place Toronto, and I do believe, you want to avoid the play-in round. So I think they're going to make the playoffs. But I said they're going to make the playoffs, and then they're going to get destroyed by whoever they face.
That kind of sounds like my potential playoff predictions for Portland. It's like if they do, they're gonna get murdered, and they might almost regret having made it.
I'm a Toronto fan. Like, if they get to the playoffs, I'll be celebrating in the streets. I don't care what happens after.
Yeah, it's true.
I actually literally said that about Portland today.
You said that they would be literally celebrating in the streets? That is
Literally.
That they're gonna get. Yeah, exactly.
That they would get murdered? Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I think if they play Dallas, they maybe have a shot. And if they play RSL or LA, they get killed.
I don't mind who they play in the play-in round. I'm saying, I think they could win that, but then they'd progress to Seattle, and then Portland fans would not be happy about losing that series to Seattle.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I would be more unhappy about just. I don't know what I would be. I would like to see them make the playoffs and become a playoff team, because there's already a couple of playoff teams in the West. There's not really many spots to be another playoff team in the West. You already got RSL and LA. What?
There's one more. That's it.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's two, because it's whoever is not RSL, LA, Seattle.
Dallas is very assuredly number 4, if not number
No. But I mean like year in, year out.
Oh,
That's
I
what
see.
Dynasties here.
Dynasty.
Okay.
Yes. Dynasties of sustained success.
One of the.
One of
you
the
wanna
4.
Enter that tier of 6 that's been to the playoffs the last 2 years.
Yes. Yep.
Not
Yeah.
less.
And I don't know whether that will happen or not. And I don't even know if it would be a good thing, but we'll see.
You don't know if it would be a good thing if your team became a playoff contender year in and year out?
No, I don't know if them making it this year would help in that. Honestly.
Come on. Well, you want to make it still. Come on. You're a fan of the team.
Yeah.
Even if you go and lose, that's better than not making the playoffs.
Well, here's the thing, is that our owner's ego is massive. Our owner's ego is absolutely massive. Have you ever looked at the man's Twitter feed? And he is convinced that everything he has done this year has been right. Not buying a proper winger, not reinforcing the back line at all, waiting until, Donovan Ricketts basically just collapses into a heap of bones before replacing him. All of these things, he is dead convinced and tells supporters on a regular basis that he knows more than they do and they should shut the fuck up.
Well, in his defense, he always judges himself on a merit system. And anything merit says is correct.
Yes. So that's why I wonder if maybe him just humbling up a little bit. I mean, I think he's getting humbled up a bit, and I think that the moves.
You just kick him in the streets. You're walking down the street, you give him a swift kick, you still make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's true. Just hit him with a cream pie from distance. Yeah, I don't know.
Bring it down a notch.
When the owners meet up for their meetings, I bet he comes in with theme music and everything.
Yeah, he probably comes in with he's that guy who comes in and he's like, I'm gonna blow everybody away with this awesome thing I'm gonna do, and he does it and everybody just shakes their head just shut up. Let's just get back to business. His whole.
Is he the Michael Scott of MLS ownership?
He is very much the Michael Scott. He's even the English Michael Scott, where it's even weirder and here.
David Brent, you mean?
David Brent. I didn't know if people were gonna get that reference. Yeah.
Only me.
Yeah.
And also people who are really mad that I just claimed only I would get it. They also got it.
That bastard! I knew that. That David Brent. or sorry, that Michael Scott / David Brent, that was creepier. That was like, there was definitely a lot more kind of like anger in there and like.
Well, that's how in the U.S. season 1 Michael Scott was modeled until they sort of
So they were like,
the character.
they were like, hey, did you know that Americans don't like stuff like this? That it actually just makes us uncomfortable. Hey, we should maybe we should talk about some games or something.
Oh, I have one more Toronto question.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So you guys lose Ryan Nelson. That's not so bad. You got Defoe's departure is imminent. That's a little bit worse. Lewicki's departure is also imminent. That's like the worst. On a scale of 1 to a lot, how sad is Toronto FC fan? How sad are Toronto FC fans in like 2016?
In
On a
2016.
on a scale of 1 to how happy you were in the past off season, how sad are you now?
Probably like a 4. It's definitely everything's uncertain. Like I have no idea how things are going to play out. You know, you'd like to think that TFC isn't going to TFC themselves, but it's TFC, right?
It is TFC, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, your best season ended in a 5-0 loss to New York.
pretty much.
I mean, how much is the Lewicki departure really talked about in Toronto? Because I know like it's kind of far away, but it is also, I mean, he is the MLS superstar executive pretty much. It's him and really nobody else.
It's because Lewicki isn't just the CEO of Toronto. He's the CEO of Maple Leaf Sports of Entertainment, so he also deals with the Leafs and deals with the Raptors and the Leafs minor league affiliate, the Toronto Marlies. And so him leaving, and he wants to be an entrepreneur or whatever, worries. It worries me and a lot of TFC fans because Lewicki, for better or for worse, he's an MLS guy, right? So he'll treat Toronto FC, just as important as he treats the Maple Leafs. And obviously here in Toronto, the Maple Leafs are king. Whoever replaces him, and some of the names being bandied about, are they going to treat Toronto FC the same way? Are they gonna love and care for TFC? Because TFC's like that child that you constantly need to be supervising. And that's what Lewicki did. Like that movie Problem Child, right? Do you wonder if the next CEO is gonna do that, or if he's gonna be focused mainly on the Leafs and the Raptors? And I don't think there's an MLS guy out there for MLSE, or one that MLSE is actively looking for. So there is that worry there.
Are they? I've never been to Toronto, so I have no idea what happens there. Are TFC sort of on par with the Raptors? Like, what's the Toronto sports hierarchy after the Maple Leafs?
It's difficult. Because I don't even live in Toronto. I live in the suburbs, so I'm a bit removed from everything. But the Leafs are like far and beyond the king, right? So second place isn't even close to them. Second would probably be the Raptors, especially with their recent success. And then it's probably Toronto FC. I think Toronto FC has overtaken the Argonauts, our CFL franchise.
Mm-hmm.
The Argonauts, their issues that they're getting kicked out of the Sky Dome. And then I can't believe I just completely forgot. It's Toronto Maple Leafs. Then it's the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't there a baseball team?
I can't believe I completely forgot about the Toronto. And like, I played baseball. That was my sport.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the Maple Leafs, then the Blue Jays, then the Raptors, then Toronto FC, and then the Argonauts, and then I don't know if we have like an indoor football team or something like that.
Toronto FC do it all. They've sold out that stadium through everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for better or for worse, we're a loyal bunch, if not stupid.
You think this is just a big social experiment, and they said, we're doing what we can to see how we can not sell this place out. We tried bottom dwelling for as many years as we could, and it just wasn't working. They kept coming. So what we'll try to do this time, we'll try to give them some hope, and then just take it away from them as fast as we can.
Yeah.
And we'll just see if we can get them to give up.
You know what's interesting? It definitely felt like if TFC had continued being TFC this season, the season ticket holders weren't coming back, and the stadium would probably start to empty out a bit. I mean, the Defoe announcement alone brought in so much business to TFC. And there's a lot of people right now, wanting when Jermaine Defoe was being rumored to be leaving, people asking for season tickets refunds. And so, I definitely think that it was not sustainable. The Toronto fans, we're not the Maple Leafs. We can't be mediocre for like a decade and expect people to keep showing up. This is probably Bezbatchenko and Lewicki were probably the saving grace. I honestly, I don't know how bad TFC would be had they not come right now. It would probably be worse than what we've been seeing in the past.
And that's pretty consistent with what Dennis was saying at the beginning of the year, because we started up again right as those signings were happening, and he was like, yeah, we were getting really pissed off, but now we're happy. So yeah. So, I'm also surprised you omitted the Blue Jays. I'm not surprised about that. What I am surprised that you omitted is the second Toronto NHL team that's coming up.
I have not heard about this.
Oh, breaking news! Holy shit!
Second Toronto hockey team?
Yep.
Yeah.
Second.
Are you talking about the Marlies?
No. There's new NHL teams that have been announced. One of which I only know about this because one of them is in Seattle.
I heard about the Las Vegas planned expansion, but I hadn't heard anything about Toronto.
No, it's
as far as I know,
it's Vegas, another Toronto, and then Seattle, and
Quebec.
And Quebec. Jesus, how many teams are they gonna have?
34.
Well,
a nice round number. 2 times 17. No big deal.
Yeah, that's great.
Because last time I heard, Toronto and Buffalo had blocked any expansion. I know Hamilton has wanted a team for years, and I don't know if you guys had seen the news in the past. The BlackBerry owner was just throwing money at the NHL, trying to buy the Phoenix Coyotes from them to bring them to Hamilton. But the Maple Leafs and the Sabres were very adamant they don't want anybody encroaching their market, which is why this is news to me, because this is really happening. Things are going to go crazy, more crazy than usual.
On the one hand, I haven't seen much since that SI article, from a week ago. On the other hand, I don't follow hockey, really.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it,
in this conversation, then this comes to light.
All right.
That's all we got, guys.
Yeah.
Past Canada and stuff. No, we shouldn't, because DC's next. On the notes that you
talk MLS matchup of the week. Ian, really exciting DC matchup there.
Yeah, definitely not MLS matchup of the week, but it was fun. I watched it.
Going at it.
What was fun about this is this last week, about a week ago, I went to a bar called OCSC, which stands for Orange County Social Club. And I met this guy, Phil, who's from New York. In my phone, he was Phil from New York. And he's a huge MLS fan. I was super, super surprised. He knows everything about the Red Bulls. He's a big Red Bulls fan. Aww. And he's really nice. And this kind of adds to I can't hate the Red Bulls because every single New York fan I've met is pretty nice. And anyway, he invited me over to watch the game so I could cheer while his team lost.
Well, that's okay, because you had to watch your team get spanked earlier in the week, so that's...
Yeah, that was some bullshit.
Yeah, kind of laugh and cry. In what way was that bullshit? I'm just curious.
Because it was bullshit because of how everybody reacted to it. It made a lot of sense that we were going to lose to LA 4 days after beating Kansas City in Kansas City by 3 goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized LA had played 4 days earlier, but they played 4 days earlier against Vancouver, who looks like one of the 3 worst teams in MLS right now. So, and both of their games were at home, and we had to go Kansas City to LA. What really bothers me, and I've written about this, is that Kansas City gets a pass because they played in Central America 4 years ago. not 4 years ago, 4 days ago, 4 days before their their DC game.
They have
They've still got malaria from it, boys.
They get a pass for that, even though they were playing at home. But we don't get a pass for going to LA and losing by 3. By the same scoreline that LA lost only, like 2 weeks ago to Columbus, by the way?
And LA did not get a pass for that loss. LA got
no.
hammered into the ground after that scoreline.
Yeah, people were absolutely railing on LA for that. LA fans. I mean, earlier in the year, LA fans were writing on Twitter that Bruce Arena was past his sell-by date and they should get rid of it.
Okay. That is...
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean, I think that is too far.
I must draw the line here, this far.
Yeah. I thought that was a very good game in a lot of ways. Though DC definitely looked really tired, and you could tell that they were not going to put their best foot forward. But they also, like a lot of teams that have played LA recently, with the exception of Columbus. I mean, they got lit up, and LA. I don't know what happened to that one Columbus game, because every game that I've seen them play recently has been them just tearing people apart.
Well, they've played Chivas and Vancouver, who are both terrible right now.
Mm-hmm.
Vancouver's probably, it might be a temporary thing, but it might not. But Chivas is not a temporary bad thing. And then they played
this season. Come on. Easy to beat up on, sure, but they've had a couple good looks to the season.
Yeah.
Well, so they haven't scored in like 700 minutes, and Hugo Torres isn't going to play for them for like all of September because of Mexico call-ups and this red card that will probably turn into a 3-game suspension. So they might not score again.
Ever again.
Yeah. Like literally, since they're getting rebranded.
They're Chivas next year. I think that announcement came down. Or is your bold prediction that they won't score for another year?
That Reddit self-post came out. I don't think that announcement didn't come out, did it? I
just get all my news on Reddit, guys. That's all I got in life. That's on there. I just take it as truth. If you guys want to start tricking me and putting fake stuff up there.
Yeah, so LA has had a somewhat easy run in, but they've beat Seattle quite convincingly at home. They beat RSL. They beat Portland. They lost to KC. They beat the crap out of New England, though a lot of people have been doing that lately. Apologies to Toronto fans.
Yeah, but that was before New England got better.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they're playing very, very well lately, and and they I don't know. They could win it all. Looking at them playing, I really think
they're so close to sneaking into the. They do this every year. They started off the season so poorly, and now they're like a game or two outside of the Supporter Shield.
Yeah,
they didn't even start off the season that poorly. They averaged like 1.5 points a game.
Yeah,
which is like had DC started off with 1.5 points per game, everybody would have been like, "Oh my God, DC! What the hell happened over there?" So
yeah, that's because DC won 4 games last year.
Yeah,
3 games.
Yeah.
3 games.
It's the reason we.
You exaggerated low, and you didn't go low enough.
I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4. I wasn't exaggerating. I knew it was only like 3 to 4 games.
Oh man.
What? I think we saw a lot of surprises this week, though. Honestly, I think Houston taking down Kansas City.
Yeah.
New England, of course, it turned into even bigger news over Toronto. Big. I was surprised that Montreal was able to take it to Columbus the way they did.
Yeah, that was a shocker. That must have been a little bit much because Montreal is the worst team in the league right now, and Columbus has legitimate aspirations for the playoffs. And
well, Columbus is Columbus themselves. We don't have a striker, and that's exactly what happened. We looked good, we had chances, can't finish them. That's all that's going on in Columbus right now. We have great midfield, and we can't finish anything.
Montreal is technically the worst team because they have the fewest points, but they got this new guy, Ignacio Piatti, who might actually be pretty legit. Yeah. He scored both those goals. He looked pretty good against New York in like the 30 minutes that he played.
Yeah. He's really good. He's from San Lorenzo, which is the team that just won the Libertadores, and they also were second last year in the Primera in Argentina. They're a very, very good team. He was one of their best players. I was actually surprised that Montreal picked him up, that he wasn't going to Europe, because he's good enough to go play in Portugal or France or for a smaller Italian team for sure. So it was actually a really good pickup on their part.
By the way, we tell this to everybody, but we forgot to tell Vince. Vince, we're probably done talking about Toronto for the most part, but if you want to stick around and chill and say stuff, most of our guests or all of our guests are totally welcome to do that. So it is up to you.
Yeah, I'll hang around. Anything you guys want to talk about, I'll chime in if you want.
Yeah.
We can talk about. I actually didn't get to see the New England matchup. How did Jermaine Jones look? When did he come into the match and did it look like he was worth all the fuss?
I mean, it was he looked like a guy who had just come off a vacation. That's that's pretty much it.
That can be good, right?
I don't even know if he's trained. I mean, we've seen all the pictures with Charlie Sheen and his wife, and just hanging around, with the A-listers and everything. I don't know if he's actually been to the pitch,
Charlie Sheen? He's hanging out with Charlie Sheen. That makes me wonder about that guy. You couldn't pick a sketchier celebrity at the moment to hang out with than Charlie Sheen. Like, what do you do? Yeah. Anyway, I did see that Kellen Rowe goal, which I thought was a pretty impressive. Was a pretty impressive goal.
Do you think? Do you guys think he gets to call up in October finally, or is he not there yet for the U.S. national team?
I don't think he's there yet. No, I don't know. Ian follows the U.S. national team a lot more closely than I do.
I don't. If I were a New England fan, I obviously don't want him to get a call up. Also, we have plenty of guys who won't be in super intense playoff races that Jurgen can call up for those farewell games. I mean, isn't he just going to call up a bunch of old guys like Bocanegra and Cherundolo and Onyewu?
I don't think that's what's going to happen. It seems like I mean, Donovan's the only one we've really heard about getting the farewell call up, because I mean, if you look at the roster he just released, it seems like he's ready to go fully into rebuild and scouting mode, basically. So I think we're going to see a lot of young guys get called up to a lot of different matches. More so than we're not going to give everybody a going away game, but Landon Donovan gets one.
I'm getting all of my rumors from comments of RMLS articles, by the way. So I'm not.
I already admitted to that, so I'm on the same page.
I think he goes young. I think we might see Giassi Zardes, we might see Will Trapp, Luis Gill.
Wow.
I don't know. That's a good question, because it's not a testimonial, but it is Landon's last game. Does he want to bring in Jones, Beckerman, Bradley, Dempsey, or does he want to go young like the team that's playing tomorrow against the Czech Republic? I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out.
I mean, it's not a testimonial game, but it is very close to a testimonial game. It's the international equivalent of those.
He should just fuck with all MLS teams and call up Yedlin and Evans and Giassi Zardes.
Just burn every bridge that he has.
Perry Kitchen.
Yeah, everybody who could possibly be. Yeah, well, all the mid-table teams who are fighting for playoff places would appreciate that, especially those of us who have no players for any international teams at all.
He could call up Harrington.
And not all of us have good players on our team, all right?
Yeah.
I think Jack Jewsbury's long overdue.
Yeah. No, he's really not. Yeah, actually, I think speaking of he's not a U.S. citizen yet. Speaking of Jack Jewsbury and Michael Harrington, I think it was really interesting to see, Montreal is not a particularly great team, but they are pretty fast, and that's been the thing that's been killing Portland this year. And it was really interesting to see how much better Portland looked without Harrington and Jewsbury and O'Rourke in the back line, and putting in Powell and VFA, two young, really fast guys. I was not I mean, I don't think that that back line would look particularly great against LA. But I think they would look a lot better than the previous backline did against Seattle. I mean, they're at least fast enough to keep up with people and keep their shape on counterattacks. And so that was nice to see younger guys getting a run out and some of the older guys waiting a little bit, and just sitting back. But really the big thing I took away from that game was like, what the hell is going on in Vancouver? They used to look like a really good team, and they really don't anymore. They just look really flat and confused, and I was shocked at how badly they played in that game.
Vancouver's problem has always been that they rely too much on confidence on their strikers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at Darren Maddox, you look at Eric Hurtado, Kenny Miller when he was with them. I mean, these are guys that aren't consistent over an entire season. They're always hot and cold. You think Vancouver's the kind of team that has all the pieces really, but it's just maybe the mentality of some of their players. I don't know. Like it's absolutely right. I mean, you wonder. You wonder, what can they really do? Because everything seems to click when it's working, but it's just that finishing product that isn't there. I mean, Darren Maddox had like a fantastic run, and then now recently he's back. All the Vancouver fans are calling for his head. Eric Hurtado and his terrible celebrations. For a time, he was fantastic. And now he's not getting it done. You can't rely on Mane. He's still only 19 years old. You can't expect him to shoulder the entire attack of an MLS team. It's just too much. Yeah, I mean it's quite a conundrum for them.
Yeah, because Morales was looking really good, and Matias Leva was looking really good, and their attack looked really sharp. Yeah, I mean they looked like a really sharp team. Those two New Uruguayan guys that they picked up, and Hurtado, who's actually from Portland, and really should be a homegrown player for Portland, except they fucked that up, so he's not. But
you're not missing much.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's nice to have a little bit more depth up front than we have right now, I guess. And I don't know that he would be a regular starter, but it couldn't hurt to have. Plus, it's just nice to have young players that have come up through the club, especially because Portland has so few of those. So.
I mean, technically, you guys have a U.S. international in Rubio Rubin. I mean, if you want to count him.
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, were he to come to MLS, though, he would not be a homegrown player because he played. There's the West Side Timbers, which for whatever reason, I guess this is fixed now, but it used to be that the Timbers had two under-18 teams, but only one of them actually counted as like players could become homegrown players out of it, and that was the one that he played for because he lived in a suburb of Portland as opposed to the city proper. So, anyway, yeah, he's apparently doing well over in Utrecht, and good for him. Maybe someday.
Sneaky plotline of the 2014 MLS season that a lot of people forgot about is the Vancouver-Toronto race for that 2015 CCL spot.
What?
Yeah, the team that finishes with more points in Canada in this MLS season gets to go to CCL in 2015.
What? What about the Canadian Championship?
Did that really go through? I thought that was proposed for next season.
It was proposed for this one because they can't do the Canadian Championship, but with the the Pan Americans and the women's
Pan American Games next. Oh yeah, that's true. Right. Actually, I did not know that. Wow. I have something now to look forward to.
Yeah, they have the same amount of points, but Vancouver's played one more game, I think.
Wow. Well, hey.
But the plot thickens.
Toronto and the CCL. It's really glamorous because you get to fly to places like Guyana and play on a cricket pitch.
The last time TFC were in the CCL, we made the semifinals.
Wow. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a semifinals, and we got destroyed by a Mexican team. Which,
that's right. That part of CCL, not the fun part where you get to beat up on teams from Central American companies.
At the end?
Yeah. How does this story end? Oh yeah, it ends with you getting the ass kicked by a Mexican team.
One pummeling.
Yeah.
Can we talk about for a second? I guess this is more for the off season, but I'm getting preemptively pissed off for when the CBA prevents DC players and the rest of the CCL from happening for MLS.
What? I prevents the CCL for happening for MLS?
Yeah, because of all the rumors that it's not going to get done until like April, and that part of the CCL starts in March.
Oh.
Well, doesn't the season start in March, or is it starting later next year?
No, it starts in March. There's just people are like, oh, there's going to be like a 1 month or 2 month lockout, and it'll be fine. And I'm like, but then no CCL, we're going to lose again, like by forfeit.
Do you actually think there'll be a lockout? That would be. I mean, the league seems too well run for a lockout, frankly.
Okay, I mean, you say that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. With your mouth and your word.
With your command of the English language.
I think Ian froze right after that, so that's
Oh, yeah, that was good. I thought he
up.
was just leveled by my comeback. It was just like burned so hard.
I would be really surprised to see it come to a lockout because I think there's so much money coming in this year, and I guess you could make the argument that can cause an argument. But I think you're going to see a lot more. You're going to see a bigger raise in the salary cap. You're going to see the minimum rookie salaries raised by probably a more substantial amount than it has been previously.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about seeing an extra DP spot. I think that I would be really surprised if everybody's not just super happy with what they have to bargain with this year. I guess I'm not a sports agent for obvious reasons because I assume everybody's going to be happy with all the deals. But if they can't get something worked out in time, then I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, it seems like the relationship between players and the league is pretty good. I mean, the league very rarely hands down bizarre arbitrary punishments and the kind of stuff that you see in NFL where players get a little cranky when they get, $50,000 fine for, I don't know, whatever it is they fine them for. The one that I don't know about the biggest lockout that I ever remember is the NHL lockout, which lost an entire season, and I actually have no idea how that came to pass because I don't know.
Well, I mean, we saw half an NBA season go down the drain.
Yeah.
NFL lockout. We saw NBA lockout. Basically, every time any player organization has come up against a collective bargaining agreement in the past decade, we've seen a lockout. So I think the fear is real.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They just all seem like such nice young men, though.
I don't think Garber wants to risk a lockout, especially with NYCFC and Orlando City joining the league.
Yeah.
I think it would be devastating, and especially because of the international nature of, we're going to have players transferring in and out of the league, and it's really going to throw a bigger wrench into things than, if the NFL locks out, they just say, no trades until this is figured out. But you can't really do that with an international sport like this because you have people coming in and out. I know they have that with hockey, but it's not as, I don't think it's as often you'll have transfers in, transfers out as you do in MLS.
Yeah, and NHL is the biggest money league for hockey, so people have an incentive to stick around and see what's going to happen. I mean, I can't think of a soccer league not going except in just absolutely crazy instances, like.
And you have a brand new TV deal. You don't want to mess that
up. Yeah. I mean, the times that I can think of that leagues have stopped was like wars,
like the Ukrainian league right now,
right?
With the issues over there, obviously, play was suspended for many months. I mean, in Europe, whenever there's a problem, it's typically a team that has the issue, right? Like with what we saw with Rangers and them getting booted down the Scottish pyramid, right? Single entity is a whole nother monster. And that's our monster here in this part of the world.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is one reason that they don't run into that. There are leagues that stop play, but yeah, it tends to be for like severe crowd violence problems or wars. So I wonder if Ian's coming back.
Ian might have just gotten so incensed at what you said about
did anybody watch Kansas City and Houston? Thought that was a particularly ill-tempered game. I was surprised by how
with the rain delay, and then it worked from there.
it went downhill from there. Yeah, that was an epic rain delay. It was good that I had a lot that I had to get accomplished, so I could sit around and wait it out and see the tail end of the game. But yeah, that was a.
What is with Kansas City? They don't seem as convincing as you'd expect them to be.
No, and they don't. I don't know. They don't have. I mean, I guess, like, they don't have that. They're acting like a team. To me, they look like a team that has a huge amount of pressure on them, and I don't perceive them being that way. It seems like they shouldn't be. Yeah, they won everything last year, and that was great for them. But they're acting. I think actually now I'll answer my own little query, because I think it is just the injuries stacking up that seem to just be putting a huge amount of pressure on everybody. People are playing out of position, and there is kind of like a low grade panic around those, at least with the fans. I don't know if it's translating to the team, but yeah.
Like what I've seen on the match threads on Reddit, a lot of people are just like, oh, we're missing Yuri Rosell, and someone like him, perhaps, that calming presence in the midfield. You wonder, like, they're gonna make the playoffs and they're gonna still be a strong team, but I don't see them repeating as champions.
No.
Not this season, and it feels like they're gonna back into the playoffs maybe like Seattle did last year, and maybe they'll be upset in the first round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still think that there are very few teams that have the depth that Kansas City has. So I think if there's any team that can get by with key injuries, Kansas City is the team.
Yeah. They've got so many, though. I mean, they're on their third string goalkeeper now. I mean, that's impressive. That's some impressive, injury having. But I don't know. We'll see. Talked about the debut of Jermaine Jones.
I think we rolled through pretty much everything. If we want to start making some bold predictions, and I'll do two, because my first one is I predict that Ian will be back before we're done making bold predictions.
That is bold.
Prediction.
Because you never know with Ian. All right, what's your second one?
I don't know yet. I'm just giving you the first one now. All right. Second bold prediction is that Kansas City makes the, I guess semifinals isn't really bold, is it? Kansas City makes it back to the finals.
That is bold. That is bold. Oh, man.
If Toronto can get it together, there's a threat.
Wait, okay, so right now we've got
Toronto and KC right now. That's it.
DC, Toronto. Wait, I see. I'm looking at stands here. I see DC, KC, New England, Toronto, Columbus.
See, for me, New England. I think New York is the fourth team I'll put in.
Really?
And, those are the teams that I think could make it to that final.
So I feel like New England had such a bad run, and they are obviously not as bad as that run that they were on. That
Sure.
They could, and you got three teams tied on 33 points. They don't need to